The book I would like to discuss today is titled Freedom Songs by Yvette Moore. Now, this was a very interesting book to me because the reading level for the book is about from grades 6 to 8. So it's for children, technically. But as an adult, I can say that I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It's fiction, and let's just read a quick summary of it. In the 60s, when Cheryl's Uncle Pete joins the Freedom Riders down south, she organizes a gospel concert in Brooklyn to help him. That's the simple summary of it. But in more detail, I would describe it as a young black girl coming of age in the 60s. She has to decide what side of the issue she'll take on the quote-unquote race issue at the time. There are so many deep discussions had in this book. It's very interesting that a book for children that from 6th to 8th grade covers so many different topics. But throughout the read, they cover issues, for example, like diaspora issues. They have a friend and she's Dominican, and within the book, they have arguments with her about whether she's black or not. And because she doesn't identify as black, she identifies as Dominican, they they feel like she's putting on airs. And then the main character, Cheryl, finally comes to realize that, she says, no, she wasn't putting on airs. Maybe back where she came from, it mattered more that she was there than she was black. Well, she's here now. So that's one thing that was covered. Another deep topic that was covered was about the civil rights movement, and Cheryl and her friends, and she has an amazing group of friends, Cheryl and her friends argue back and forth of who was right. Was it Martin Luther King or was it Malcolm X? And each of them decide whether they are pacifist or not. And I don't want to spoil anything because I really think that you should read it. And if you have children or young cousins, anyone who you think within that age range or even outside of it that could handle this level, this grade level, I think you should have them read them because this book is amazing. And I think that it would be amazing as a film, a coming-of-age film, seeing the civil rights movement from the point of view of a young teenager. Now, in regards to fan casting, before I go into who I want to fan cast, I want to just talk about the way Yvette Moore describes her characters. The way she describes black faces is amazing. And she intertwines their physical features with personality traits, and she makes parallels and comparisons to other things. It's just amazing. So I just want to read a few passages. Being down south was nice, not only because folks say your name right, but because you see yourself at every turn. In New York, people say, although I don't see it, that Mommy, Daddy, and Craig, Ronnie, and I look alike. But to my eyes, and to Craig's too, there were missing links. Craig has the same eyes as Mommy, but where'd those big lips come from? Ronnie's the same Brazilian nut color as Daddy, but where'd he find those cheeks? Down south answered some of those mysteries. Take Craig's lips. We found them right in Ma Putnam's room, hanging over her bed in an oil painting of Granddaddy, tainted in subdued browns. Aside from the half-finished cigar, gripped in the left corner of Granddaddy's mouth, those lips were Craig's. Ronnie's cheeks and my nose we found in the middle of Ma Putnam's face. Ma Putnam looks like an African Indian. Surrounding her dark, supple, leather-baked face was two coarse gray braids pulled over the top of her head in opposite directions, pinned at the nape of her neck. Her large forehead, slanted like the side of a hill, was the same as Ronnie's. Small lips covered large china white teeth and firm jaws. In the middle of it all was my nose. And that made me happy as getting a gift when it wasn't even Christmas. It made me think about all the other noses and lips and foreheads and cheeks and eyes and ears, especially the ones that couldn't be ignored, that I'd seen in school, on the train. And I wondered who'd given those folks those features, and I wondered if they knew the family treasure laid open in the middle of their faces. Wow, okay? She's just so descriptive with her characters. The one character I'm going to fan cast for is Cheryl, the lead of this film. I feel like everyone should be filled in around her, and I feel like her role is the most important, and I have an actress in mind for her. And in my mind, Sanaya Sidney would be perfect for that role. She's 12 years old. Cheryl is 14. Sanaya Sidney would be amazing because she has 3 major historical film credits to her name already. She was in Fences with Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. She was in Hidden Figures, and she was also in Roots. She played little Kizzy at the age of 6. So she is already building an amazing historical film resume. Currently, she's in the series The Passage as one of the leads, and she's doing an amazing job. And I feel like she would be able to carry the weight of Cheryl's coming of age story in the 60s. Everyone else can be filled in with other actors, but it's very important that they cast an actress who can carry the weight of this potential film. Who do you have in mind for Cheryl? I very much enjoyed Freedom Song. It was a beautiful depiction of a black girl coming of age in the 60s and handling race, as well as typical coming of age situations. It's a beautiful book and it would make an amazing film. Someone should write it. This was day 4 of our Write It series for Black History Month at blacksandperiodfilms.com. What do you think of Freedom Songs? Have you read it? Will you read it? What do you think about turning children's books essentially into period films? I will be covering another children's book throughout this series, so if you want to learn what book that is, stay tuned. Leave any comments you have, any suggestions you have down below. Thanks for watching. See you later.